Tory Lanez just can't seem to catch a break. First, he was hit with a 10-year sentence for allegedly firing shots at Megan Thee Stallion. And now, as if things couldn't get any worse, reports say he was stabbed multiple times while behind bars.
He was stabbed 14 times.
There's a lot going on, so let's get right into it. In a shocking turn of events, multiple verified sources have confirmed that on Monday, May 12, 2025, at around 7:20 a.m. local time, Tory Lanez was jumped and stabbed by another inmate at the California Correctional Institution in Tehachapi, about 75 miles north of Los Angeles. Tory, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, was allegedly attacked by an inmate identified as Santino Casio. Casio is reportedly serving a life sentence with the possibility of parole for serious charges, including second-degree murder. And this wasn't just a scuffle, it was a brutal attack. Lanez reportedly suffered 14 stab wounds, 7 to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head, and 1 to the left side of his face. This situation is developing fast, and we'll keep you updated as more details emerge.
He didn't even know his lungs had collapsed. All he knows is that he couldn't breathe.
What's most alarming is that both of his lungs collapsed from the assault, and he had to be put on a breathing machine immediately. That's the kind of situation where it's life or death. Real talk.
It may seem sensational, but thankfully, like Dr. King, it was close to his heart but did not penetrate. He said, and I quote, "Dad, I thought it was my last."
The correctional officers responded quickly, administering first aid and calling emergency services. Tory Lanez was rushed to a nearby hospital for immediate treatment. The stabbing occurred in one of the prison housing units. While the motive remains unclear, both the prison's investigative services unit and the Kern County District Attorney's Office have launched investigations. The alleged attacker, 42-year-old Santino Casio, has a known history of violence behind bars. Casio has been incarcerated at Tehachapi since February 2004, transferred from Los Angeles County Jail. His record includes several violent offenses while in custody, including a 6-year sentence in January 2008 for attacking another inmate with a weapon, and another 2-year sentence in 2018 for possessing or creating a deadly weapon. Casio has since been placed in administrative segregation, commonly known as the Hole, as authorities work to determine exactly what happened. Updates on Tory Lanez's condition have come primarily from his verified Instagram account and statements made by his father, Sunstar Peterson. A post on Lanez's official page detailed his injuries, revealing he was temporarily placed on a breathing machine. By May 13th, just one day after the stabbing, medical staff had already begun removing tubes draining fluid from his lungs. His father also addressed the media during a press conference held in downtown Los Angeles on May 14, 2025.
The reports in the hospital is that he is doing remarkably well. I was told yesterday, because they had already taken out the tubes that were draining the fluids from his lungs, they had already taken them out by the time my wife and I got there.
As of May 14th, the latest update on Tory Lanez is that he's recovering surprisingly well following the recent prison attack. Despite the severity of what he went through, sources close to him say he's now breathing on his own, talking normally, and doing his best to stay positive. Though he's still in a lot of pain, he's reportedly grateful to be alive after such a brutal stabbing and deeply appreciates the continued love and support from his Day One fans and close circle. This violent incident comes at a time when Lanez, born Daystar Peterson, is already facing serious challenges. As many know, he's currently serving a 10-year prison sentence after being convicted in December 2022 on 3 felony charges connected to the July 2020 shooting involving Megan Thee Stallion. The charges included assault with a semi-automatic firearm carrying a concealed, unregistered weapon, negligent discharge of a firearm. He began serving his sentence in August 2023 after being transferred from LA County Jail into the California State prison system. The stabbing has sparked renewed debate over Lanez's original case, especially after his legal team called a press conference on May 14, 2025, just 2 days after the attack, to reveal what they're calling new evidence in the shooting incident. We'll get into that in a moment, but first, let's look at how the public reacted to the news of the stabbing. The incident quickly went viral across major media outlets and social media, with reactions ranging from sympathetic to celebratory. largely depending on how people already felt about Lanez and his conviction. Many fans, and even some fellow artists, took to X, formerly Twitter, to send prayers and well wishes. One user tweeted, "Celebrating Tory Lanez getting stabbed is degenerate behavior. There should never be a time where you're wishing death on someone on behalf of a celebrity." Legal journalist Megan Cuniff, who's been closely following the case, added, "The amount of violence in our prisons is horrifying. It is not at all funny what happened. No, he didn't deserve it, but keeping it a buck." At the same time, others showed no sympathy. Some even celebrated the incident, citing his conviction as proof that this was karma. These types of reactions reflect just how toxic public discourse can get when high-profile figures face violence, especially in cases already filled with controversy. Beyond the emotional reactions, conspiracy theories have also started circulating. Some users believe there could be a connection between the stabbing and the sudden emergence of new evidence in Lanez's case. Others have gone even further, questioning whether the stabbing even happened at all. One user speculated, "I don't think Tory Lanez was stabbed. I believe his team orchestrated a plan to get him out." These responses highlight how divided public opinion still is, and how quickly conspiracy theories take root in celebrity legal battles. The conversation surrounding Tory Lanez touches on broader issues of justice, accountability, and how public perception can shape high-profile criminal cases. To understand the bigger picture, let's rewind. As previously mentioned, Lanez is currently serving a 10-year sentence for the 2020 shooting of Megan Thee Stallion. The incident occurred after a pool party at Kylie Jenner's house in the Hollywood Hills. According to court testimony, an argument broke out inside an SUV, during which Lanez allegedly insulted Megan's rap skills. She exited the vehicle, and as she walked away, he reportedly shouted, "Dance, bitch!" before firing shots at her feet. The gunfire caused injuries requiring surgery to remove bullet fragments. In October 2020, the LA County District Attorney charged Lanez with 3 felonies. His trial began in December 2022 and lasted 9 days. He was convicted on all counts. On August 8, 2023, Judge David Hereford sentenced him to 10 years in prison. With time served, around 10 months, his actual sentence came out to approximately 9 years and 2 months. The DA's office originally asked for 13 years, while Lanez's legal team had pushed for probation or a lighter sentence, citing his charitable work and early childhood trauma, including the loss of his mother at age 11. Lanez initially served time in LA County Jail under 24-hour lockdown in a small cell. He claimed to lead daily prayer groups and help keep the peace in the protective custody unit. On September 19, 2023, he was transferred to North Kern State Prison in Delano, a medium security facility, before being moved again to California Correctional Institution, CCI, in Tehachapi, which houses both medium and maximum security inmates. Throughout his incarceration, Lanez has maintained his innocence. His legal team previously filed a motion for a new trial, arguing that the evidence used against him was insufficient and improperly presented, such as Megan's mention of Lanez's parole status. That motion was denied in May 2023. In September 2023, another request for bail pending appeal was also denied. The judge cited the violent nature of Lanez's conviction, his prior violations of court orders, and his risk of deportation as a Canadian citizen as reasons to keep him locked up. Despite being behind bars, Lanez has continued releasing music and cultivating his public image. He's dropped projects like Lost Tapes, recorded between 2015-2020, Prison Tapes, recorded while incarcerated, and Twitch Tapes, compiled from live sessions before his imprisonment. In 2025, he even released an album titled Peterson, marketed as the first ever prison album recorded in real time using AI tech. The album debuted at number 25 on the Billboard 200, proving Lanez still has industry clout despite his legal woes. All of this brings us back to the most recent development. Just 2 days after being stabbed 14 times at CCI Tehachapi, Lanez's legal team held a press conference in downtown Los Angeles. Partnering with the nonprofit Unite the People, UTP, his lawyers gathered reporters and supporters to unveil what they're calling game-changing new evidence that could potentially alter the course of his case. What that evidence is, and whether it truly shifts the legal landscape, remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure: Tory Lanez's story is far from over, and the public is watching every twist and turn.
He was stabbed 14 times, 5 times in his back, 1 under his left cheekbone. In fact, his jaw was open. He was stabbed twice in the back of his head, and the rest in his torso, arms, and in his chest.
The timing of this latest announcement, coming right after Tory Lanez was nearly killed in a prison stabbing, has raised eyebrows and sparked widespread speculation about a possible connection between the two events. During a recent press conference, Tory Lanez's legal team introduced new testimony from Bradley James, who they identified as the former bodyguard of Kelsey Harris, Megan Thee Stallion's ex-best friend, and a key figure in the July 2020 shooting incident. According to James, Harris privately admitted that she, not Lanez, was the one who fired shots at Megan Thee Stallion that night. He claims to have overheard multiple conversations in which Harris allegedly confessed to firing 3 shots at Megan, prompting Tory to intervene by grabbing her arm and pushing the gun downward, which caused 2 additional rounds to go off, accidentally. James, who says he's not under any non-disclosure agreement, stated that his conscience compelled him to speak out, insisting that Tory never shot or assaulted Megan, contrary to the original trial's outcome. If true, this testimony directly contradicts the narrative that led to Lanez's December 2022 conviction on 3 felony gun charges. Tory's legal team, joined by political commentator Gianno Caldwell and UTP consultant Walter Roberts, argued that this new evidence suggests a wrongful conviction. They criticized former Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon, accusing him of prosecutorial misconduct, withholding forensic evidence, and allowing politically motivated sentencing. At the press conference, Lanez's team urged California Governor Gavin Newsom to reduce Tory's sentence or grant him a full pardon, especially given his recent hospitalization after the stabbing. They've also launched a petition on change.org, shared through Tory's official social media accounts, in an effort to rally public support for his release. The emergence of this alleged new evidence has reignited debate across the media. However, it's important to note that Megan Thee Stallion has consistently maintained throughout the trial that Tory Lanez was the shooter. Her attorney responded to the new claims by asserting that the case was thoroughly litigated and that this testimony does not alter the facts established in court. Still, the close timing of the stabbing and the new testimony has led to a flood of speculation and conspiracy theories online. Some social media users suggested the prison attack may have been staged to gain public sympathy for Lanez just before this new information surfaced. Others speculated it might have been an attempt to silence him before the testimony could be made public. One user on X, formerly Twitter, wrote, "It's crazy how Tory Lanez gets stabbed right before new evidence came out saying Kelsey Harris shot Megan, not Tory. This case is finally about to turn around." Another claimed the stabbing could have been a hit tied to the upcoming revelation. According to various outlets and press conference statements, James's testimony places him near Harris during the time she allegedly made the private confessions. He claimed the entire shooting unfolded much differently than what was presented at trial, portraying Tory not as the aggressor, but as someone trying to prevent further violence. James said he stayed silent initially but could no longer bear the weight of knowing what he calls the truth, while someone sat behind bars for a crime they didn't commit. It remains unclear, however, why he waited so long to come forward. In addition to James's testimony, Tory's legal team also referenced DNA analysis that reportedly shows only a 0.01% chance that Lanez ever touched the firearm used in the shooting. Another point they argue supports their claim of wrongful conviction.
As the attorneys laid out here today, the prosecution failed to produce a single shred of forensic evidence tying Tory to the actual gun. His fingerprints weren't on it. His DNA was later found to be 100% nearly excluded from the gun, as shown in the worksheet that was provided to the defense late on the eve of the actual trial, after making a request for that very document. After trial, looking at this evidence, there is a 0.01% chance Tory's DNA was on the firearm.
New claims, a prison stabbing, and the fight for clemency. The latest in the Tory Lanez legal saga. Tory Lanez's legal team has recently ramped up efforts to challenge the original trial that led to his conviction in the 2020 shooting of Megan Thee Stallion. They're raising serious concerns over alleged missing evidence, claiming the gun and bullet involved were never properly processed or presented in court. According to his attorneys, Tory was denied a fair shot at defending himself. They argue that media bias, prosecutorial overreach, and immense public pressure created an unfair trial environment. Now they're pushing for a reconsideration of the case at the highest levels, appealing directly to California Governor Gavin Newsom for clemency. These legal moves have reignited debate on social media, especially on platform X, formerly Twitter. Some posts have highlighted the alleged lack of physical evidence tying Tory to the shooting, including claims of no gunshot residue or fingerprints. Others are amplifying new testimony from Bradley James, a former bodyguard, who says he heard Kelsey Harris admit to being the shooter, and that Tory actually tried to de-escalate the situation. Despite being behind bars, Tory has remained vocal. On May 14, 2025, he posted from his verified X account, calling on fans to sign a petition for his release using the hashtag #FreeTory. That petition, launched by the Caldwell Institute for Public Safety, has reportedly gained momentum, although exact numbers remain unconfirmed. Still, not everyone is convinced. Some social media users are questioning the timing and credibility of the new claims, while others continue to stand firmly with Megan Thee Stallion. Hosts have criticized Tory's supporters and expressed frustration over what they see as attempts to undermine survivors of abuse. Meanwhile, Tory's influence hasn't vanished. His music continues to drop, even from prison. In 2025, he released an album titled Peterson, reportedly created entirely with AI technology behind bars. This steady stream of content has kept his name trending and his case in the public eye. But the legal troubles don't end there. In December 2024, Megan Thee Stallion filed for a restraining order, claiming Tory was harassing her from prison through third parties, including a blogger allegedly spreading misinformation. In January 2025, a judge approved a 5-year restraining order, effective until 2030. On top of all this, Tory was recently the victim of a violent stabbing at the California Correctional Institution. According to reports, he sustained 14 stab wounds and collapsed lungs, but is now in fair condition as of May 14th. Updates from his Instagram suggest he's in good spirits and thankful to be alive. The alleged attacker, Santino Casio, a known violent offender, has been placed in restricted housing pending investigation. Casio has a history of assaulting inmates, raising serious questions about safety protocols in U.S. correctional facilities. The attack adds yet another layer to the complex legal drama. Tory's team used a press conference on May 14th, not only to announce new evidence, but also to tie the stabbing into their appeal for clemency, suggesting that his life is at risk in prison and he deserves a second chance. However, legal analysts have pointed out that presenting new evidence at a press conference, rather than through formal legal filings, is unorthodox and unlikely to sway the courts on its own. The success of their appeal will depend heavily on whether they officially submit these claims through the judicial system. Reactions to the stabbing and the new legal claims have been mixed. Even those who believe Tory is guilty have expressed concern over the violence he endured, while others argue that sympathy should be reserved for Megan, who has been re-traumatized by the ongoing public debate. As one user on X put it, "Y'all say don't laugh at Tory getting stabbed, but where? Was that energy when people made memes about Megan crying in court?" This divide highlights just how emotionally charged and polarized the case has become. There are several key questions that could shape the future of this saga. Will Tory's legal team submit the new evidence in court? How will judges respond if they do? What role will Bradley James's testimony play? Will Governor Newsom consider clemency? And how will the prison stabbing affect Tory's safety and potential transfer? Meanwhile, the investigation into the stabbing continues, with charges against Santino Casio still a possibility. If the threat to Tory's safety is confirmed, officials may have to reevaluate his housing situation. For Megan, this ordeal is far from over. In interviews, she's opened up about the trauma not just from the shooting, but from being publicly doubted and vilified. She called the guilty verdict a win for women who speak out against violence. But the continued litigation and new accusations may reopen old wounds, keeping her in the crossfire of public scrutiny. Tory Lanez's case is no longer just about a shooting. It's a collision of celebrity, justice, violence, and media influence. From the courtroom to the prison yard to social media, this saga touches on broader issues, from inmate safety and trial, fairness to how society treats both accused men and survivors of violence. As Tory recovers from his injuries and his legal team possibly gears up for another fight in court, one thing is clear: this story is far from over. The next few months could reshape the narrative yet again.